Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series.
Because creators are businesses.
What we do is not simple.
Give, the fans everything that they deserve.
Being creative
is like doing a 5,000 piece puzzle.
is something that you can learn and do over and over again.
Always be as authentic as I can be.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series. For the first time ever, I have a repeat guest. I got Mr. Tristan Gardner here with me. You guys, when we last saw, we're still in person, which is really cool, just in a different location. But last time we had Bacher and Tristan on, co-founders of Suora Studios. Now we're here. We're still in this video production age. We're still doing all this stuff. You've got some new projects you're working on, which I'm excited to dip our toes into. But I just want to hear what's been going on. Like what since the last time we talked, what's been changing?
Since the last time we talked specifically,
Yeah.
with the video business, just really staying true to the things that we want to specialize in, advertising and corporate and, graduate education.
Yeah.
Just continuing to focus on those two areas and loving all the benefits you get from focusing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a growing industry, this part too, which is really cool because I think as we're getting into more of a digital age, people are saying like, okay, we want to do video stuff. Like that's the thing. That's where we're touching everybody now. So it's so cool to see like healthcare and all these different industries that weren't doing video production now.
Yeah. And it's cool to see how short form content
Yeah.
is coming up to the forefront.
Yeah.
Not replacing, but I would say in parallel.
Yeah.
I see in many ways, it replaces other forms. But just, I think the reach of short form in general also has lifted up video needs in certain areas where a small business, that's maybe not their first priority for the first 2 quarters or whatever. So I kind of expected more of the replacement theory, but I think I've seen that too.
Yeah. It's been interesting because even as, 2020, COVID happened, TikTok became the thing where it was like this dance platform where everybody was dancing. But now it has become a conversation of like, should we be on TikTok? Should we be doing these things? Oh, wait, Instagram now started as an image platform is now trying to compete and be a short form. So it's fun to see that everybody across the board on social can have some sort of short form video, but at the same time you get to LinkedIn, you're like, okay, I can post a 5-minute clip of something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, if I'm trip planning, one of my top channels for research is actually TikTok.
Yeah.
Like for real. I mean, especially with any site you used to use, you got to scroll through, including Google,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's fun. It's the way it is.
It is.
It's the day and age it is today.
It is. Yeah. But I mean, doing the typical thing every year, and entrepreneurs that do, what's the market looking like? What are my friends / competitors saying about what they're up to with their projects? Like, how does the writing strikes in LA trickle down all the way to, high quality small shops like us?
Yeah.
Just trying to get a pulse, trying to figure out what you think about it and if we need to pivot or not, or just keep going.
Yeah.
I think having some kind of what we call Armageddon balance in your bank and your financial strategy, like basic financial strategy, is really, really helpful for those periods where there might be a couple months where your cash flow is like super low.
Yeah.
But at least it doesn't immediately instantiate like a pivot point inside your business model or away from, right? So that's pretty, you got to be able to keep the lights on long enough for you to figure it out or make it through a time where maybe it isn't your fault. Maybe it is the industry.
Yeah. Or something else has reared its head and we're making a turn a certain direction where people are like, oh, we might not need it. We might not need this thing anymore like we thought we did.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I get the question all the time. They're like, what's the thing after podcasts? And I'm like, I have no idea because this industry is so massive right now and people are just operating in this podcast world that it's the thing.
But would you agree, like you definitely wouldn't know and wouldn't be a part of it if you weren't like being a part of it, doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
I would have not a single clue. Like I've been really keeping my eye on Alex Cooper went and did Unwell, and she went and took Call Her Daddy, took a bunch of podcasts and put it under this Unwell branding. She just joined SiriusXM too in a partnership that they're doing live music shows as well. And I'm like, it's still under her Unwell brand that it's like was full podcasting, but now they're doing these productions and she's got her Unwell drink now too. It's just
I think I
crazy.
missed that, but that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. It's crazy how people are operating under these podcast brands these days.
Yeah, and I think when you're learning about building a business
Yeah.
before, during, after, it's easy to focus on and important to focus on business fundamentals,
Yeah.
right? Planning, business model planning, like
Yep.
your go-to-market strategy, what is the market, all these things that you just
Yeah.
hear, and then learn the definitions of, right?
Yeah.
And that's really how I've been focused about anything.
Yeah.
But I think now in the past 2 years, I'm starting to get more comfortable with, from experience, and I think more importantly from the
Yeah.
people that I'll have a lucky chance to meet with
Yeah.
or be on a board with that have like sold a humongous company or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll still say things like, "Yeah, I mean, you got to make sure that your value prop is actually protectable, aka like a patent or like
Yeah.
some actual protectability." And then, I've always lived by that from
Yeah.
learning that. But then those same people will say, yeah, but also if you just make your thing actually amazing and make it actually work,
Yeah.
and you just make it better than others, like that'll
Yeah.
work too. And that's coming from people who have done it. So I'm like, okay, I'll note that down as well.
Which to me is such a crazy thing to hear because I'm like, now these days it's so hard to differentiate yourself from other people because everybody's like, I just want it done today. Like how I don't care about stylistically sometimes I'm like, we just need the project done today.
Yep.
And it's crazy because I'm like, I'm here for it. I need the project done today.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Like I want the cash as well.
Yeah. I'm like, we need the balance here. I do want to get into what you've got going on, this beta that you're getting ready to release,
Yes.
what it is, what you're trying to accomplish with it, who you're trying to market it out to, everything.
Yeah. So it's called Somni Pro.
Okay.
I want it to be a part of, it's the start of a suite of
Okay.
products in post-production.
Okay.
For in the future, small shops, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys internal.
Yeah.
They do great projects, guys and gals. I mean,
Yeah.
guys is both. They do great projects throughout the year. They might have 10 clients, at once, maybe not more than that, up to, and primarily first, the target market of post-production houses, like
Okay.
50 to 150 editors,
Nice.
and internal post-production teams, whether it's for companies like Trailblazer Studios doing
Yeah.
the work to put up the stuff on Netflix that we watch, or Netflix's internal team
Yeah.
specifically. So that's what it's called and who it's for. But what it does is I'm trying to save us time, give people the opportunity in post-production to do the most creative, to have more time to do the most creative things.
Okay.
So the first feature set, an area of post-production that I tackle with the software is narrative development.
Okay.
So you've got scripted development
Yeah.
and unscripted development. And then you've got the different versions that stem off of those two. But if you take unscripted development, take a brand story, right?
Yeah.
You might have a ton of interviews, 10 hours of interviews. You got to have a minute and a half long cut, right? The first step of post-production, no matter what the content, usually involves building out that narrative, right? And then going to B-roll. Not as a rule, but that's typically how
Yeah.
it starts. And if you really think about it, because we don't, because we're just used to having to go through all the content.
Yes.
If you think about it, based on all the other stuff that you would do later as an artist in the process, like the visual effects and the graphics and moving those golden nuggets around in the narrative
Yeah.
to like play with the motion of the story. That's like the valuable stuff. Like
Yeah.
ingesting what has been recorded, even
Yeah.
if you were on set recording it, and especially if you weren't. That's not actually creative. It's like a logistical, like data
It's
transfer
a
task,
nightmare.
right?
Yeah. I even just getting into that real quick, like I even having to think about while you're recording it, you're like, I need to be focused on the actual recording. So I'm actually just taking it all in, but your mind's trying to figure out like, how in the world am I going to puzzle piece this all together?
Right. So, I mean, that's kind of the ethos for the feature set. What it actually does, though, so say you have all your,
Yeah.
let's say you have your 10 interviews. You got the audio associated with that. You run it through. It does the best transcription that you can possibly get.
Okay.
And I know it's the best because throughout enabling the first step of the pipeline, which is transcription,
Yeah.
I could not find a single model, whether it's an API or something that already exists, that does it at the level that I have to enable literally any other of the features.
Okay.
And just in the story building set. So, I mean, if you can't get the timestamps of the words, every single word, and if they're off, and then I do all this logic, and now the person knows, the user knows, oh, this is what the storyline's going to be about, or these are the categories of things. And then they go to the auto cut feature, because without that, you know, it's not the hardest part of the process for me to create, but without the auto cut, like how am I, you know, I'm saving a little time. I want to save a lot, right? Because otherwise people like us won't use it. We'll do our normal process because it's so complicated and hard. We don't want to mess it up.
We don't need another extra step to try to see if it'll make it any better.
Yeah. So if I say auto cut in Premiere, DaVinci, and you know, maybe 90% of it's right, but they got to go in and find. Yeah. Just because that 10% is there as potentially not right, now you're not trusting the tool, and then the tool will be used as much as I want it to be used. Like I use it for myself. So that transcription piece is what kind of enables everything. And there's speaker diarization, intelligent understanding of who's speaking. So diarization is when the backend model figures out when I'm talking or when you're talking. Yeah. Right. And for us, we already have that model in our heads. We can hear the differences in voices. Yeah. For a computer, it's like pretty hard. It's hard, but very possible. Yeah. Let alone knowing who's speaking just from, like, if you read through this transcript of this podcast right now. Yeah. Without hearing it, just read, you would be able to know. You'd be able to tell me, like, reading the first like 10th of the transcript, like who's who. Yes. Yeah. And so I've taught the model how to do that, and it does that too. So there's all these steps that aren't the end, like organization of the storylines and the narrative and all the things you can do there, that I've seen as pretty valuable on their own. Yeah. So that's been cool just for me as an editor. That's awesome. Yep. What, out of all of these things that you had to put together for this studio, what did you have to go learn that was like the biggest learning curve for you? There's been a lot of biggest learning curves. I just got through one last week. I started coding for this journey into trying to build a software. I always wanted to build software, sell one, or make money from one anyway. The business model supports. Don't know why. I'm just one of those things. Like, I want to go surfing. Why? I don't know. I just always have wanted to go surfing, right? Like, yep. And so I bought this little Arduino kit on Amazon, which is kind of a bridge between like a little bit of electrical engineering, little hobbyist stuff, and the code that you have to put on there to do whatever. Yeah. I knew that would get me into it. I did like the first 5 out of 20 tutorials, and I was already breaking the ice on coding. I was like, okay, great. I'm ready now. I was like tricking myself, right? Like I knew how I work. And I had to learn from there everything. Okay. I'd done like a class at UNC for like Comp 110 and like dip my toes in, but that's, I mean, I was basically starting from zero. So Python, JavaScript, C++, all the languages, understanding what it means to know how to code, especially in a time where you have tools now with LLMs that the people that already know how to do code from the traditional way to learn it, right? They know everything about it. Yeah. They are using these tools as the driver, right? Yeah. And so I mean, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now without all of the various tools and the grit it takes to learn how to do it. So from back end to front end to deployment. But to answer your question though, concisely, should have started with this. I'll give you the most recent big learning curve is deploying through Amazon Web Services, because everything my software does has to be run on a high quality GPU. It can't be run anywhere else. Yeah. That's part of the value of it. And I've realized and learned painfully that just the fact that my software connects to Amazon GPU instances makes it valuable on its own. Yeah. I didn't understand the value of that until I had to set it up. A lot of my full-time world, a lot of what we use to is like AWS. Like it's connected to AWS. And it makes it, like you just said, incredibly faster. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Faster. And I mean, I can't, if I don't run it through that and the custom models I have for transcription. Yeah. I can't do it. Like everything relies on that. So that's huge. And so like my super smart girlfriend who does all these code things and machine learning for big banks and things. Yeah. You know, I'm like, it's like day 4 and I'm like, I still can't get AWS to work. I don't know what's going wrong. And she's like, babe, this is something like 4 people at a company who've done it before would be tackling right now. And I'm like, yeah. That helps. Thanks.
Yeah, that makes me feel a lot better. Thanks, honey.
Yeah.
It is funny. It's like a whole language you're having to go learn, especially in coding. Like when I jumped into cybersecurity, I was like, this is like learning ASL or something similar to it. Like you just aren't taught this, and having no knowledge or no background in it, you're like fish out of water.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are going to get into coding because of the tools you have. But I do laugh really hard at any tweet or X.
I'm old enough where I still say tweet. I'm like, it was Twitter. I was born into Twitter. Like,
same here.
It's not
and
X.
also like X is not very well set up to
No.
be like a noun for a subset of the platform.
I'm like, it's Twitter to me.
Like
guys.
Twitter, tweet, so much
What are you
going
gonna do? X?
Exit. Like
It's-
what? Yeah, problem with naming your business after a letter, I guess, in this case. But I'll see people post like, build a SaaS company in 20 minutes with Cursor. And I'm like, I hope people click that and get into Cursor, but I hope they also don't think that means they have a SaaS business. Like,
Yeah. No.
once you get into creating anything, like using LLMs is like one of your main tools.
Yeah.
If you're doing something of like real value for you and for anybody else, in my experience the past 2 years, you get to have too many things to not understand what's going on. Like, you have to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You have to be the driver, right? Like
Yeah.
a hammer won't build the house for you.
No. Oh my gosh. No. Like it is so incredibly important. And we were talking about this beforehand, but you're with the beta launching, you want the feedback. Like what is some of the feedback or areas that you're looking really to get feedback on?
A big, broad area
Yeah.
is I want to have cases where I really thought a UX journey
Yeah.
for a specific outcome. Like let's take classifying all of the interviews down to 5 categories that you didn't already know. That's one of the things it can do.
Okay.
So it's like emotional well-being, or how this new hospital is going to help mental health in Wake County, or customer success stories, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say we're taking that route. I want to hear like, is that even like a useful route for XYZ people?
Yeah.
Right? Like the areas where I thought like this for sure is valuable to me and it's going to be of value to others.
Is that how
it
people's minds are
not?
working?
Right.
Yeah.
I want to know that first, right? Like from the higher level perspective. From the lower level, I want to hear like this took too long for me to use the first time.
Okay.
Or like I didn't have enough time. I want to give it to somebody that I know personally, you know?
Yeah.
Like that they would try it even if I didn't have a project go, and like 3 weeks later be like, I still just haven't had time to try it. I just started trying it, but I didn't have time to learn it. I want to hear that.
Okay.
It'd be great if I didn't, but if that's the case, I want to hear that, right? I want to hear, man, please release that Premiere plugin, or when's the DaVinci plugin going to come out so we can auto cut this, and not just have the data to do it ourselves. And then, you know, later on I want to hear like, oh, this UI is super sexy, but I can't let myself care about that too early.
We got to get through all this stuff first.
Yeah.
Where are you launching this? Like, where can people go get this?
So this is on the web.
Okay.
You can enter in to use the tool from the web first. By July latest.
Okay.
Could be way sooner than that, but July latest, you'll be able to use it all from within the actual editors that you use already.
Okay.
That's a big piece. I'm not trying to compete with the editors. I think that would be dumb.
What makes it an even easier tool than the ones
where you already are
Yeah.
working, right? Like you want to be able to, you know, do you use Frame.io?
Yeah.
Or have you seen it?
Yes.
You know,
I
Adobe,
use it.
Yeah, Adobe bought it. It's inside Premiere.
Yeah.
Even when I don't have to click to the browser to get the feedback from my clients, it's right there in Premiere.
Yeah.
Great. So I want to do the same thing.
Yep.
But where will people hear about it? All the channels. LinkedIn.
Okay.
YouTube will be big.
Okay.
Instagram and TikTok to get people to the YouTube specifically.
Okay.
Because, you know, like when you're in the video world or creative world in general, all the tools we use, like learning how to use them, you go to the Reddit communities and the YouTube channels for the actual products.
I mean, it is the biggest education platform there is out there today. And I don't know about anybody else. I don't know about you, but if I need to fix something in my house, I go to YouTube to look it up, because it is just, there are so many different versions. There's so many different things you could do, but it's just the place and the easiest place to go to.
It is 100%. So, yeah, you can keep up with updates on Instagram, LinkedIn is the
Okay.
first places for sure. LinkedIn is by far the primary for the beta stages.
Yeah.
My beta release is really a 0.9 beta where
Okay.
it's in beta testing, really.
Okay.
I'm going to release it out. Anybody can sign up an account,
Yeah.
but I care more for the next 4 weeks that the 40 people I've sent it to have an opportunity to use it, try
Okay.
it, and tell me how it went. And then I'll do the,
Nice.
big beta release where I'll have, maybe even I'll let myself add another feature. Because I have
Okay.
a ton of features across
Yeah.
audio, narrative, image, B-roll, video
Yeah.
that I use. But again, getting them all to work on AWS takes time.
It's a little bit of hand holding and teaching we have to do there as well too.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, the balance of everything project
Yeah.
management wise is
Yeah.
a lot.
Yes. How did you determine the 40 people you sent it to? Was it just friendlies? That you just-
People that liked me enough to listen to me talk about it and
Love
were
it.
generous enough to show interest
Yeah.
and be like, I want to use this. And be
Yeah.
like, add you to the beta list. Simple as that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good.
networking.
Name of the game. We were talking about this beforehand, just in terms of entrepreneurship, like with Suora Studios, with you doing this now, like it is a grind to be able to do this. And we were talking about how just in terms of work-life balance as an entrepreneur, like it just doesn't exist sometimes. And we were talking about how like this has been when you've got free time, which is a lot of what entrepreneurs do just in general. Like you had the full-time job and then you're like, okay, great. I have working hours until however early in the morning I can go till
Right.
to operate and be able to build this.
Yeah. And like all-nighters don't work either.
No.
Like we're not machines. Like it comes back. Like you end up
Yeah.
using that time later or decreasing your productivity,
Yeah.
So it's definitely hard to find the balance. I think like with everything you've been building and any entrepreneur while they're building, if you get to the point of success where your business model is going to be around for a couple years at least,
Yeah.
no matter if you're the head honcho or not,
Yeah.
I think you're just front loading a lot of the work that gets you the benefit at that point.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to be the one doing it all day, every day.
Yeah.
It as in any one of the tasks
Yeah.
that it takes, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's how I handle all the time. I'm like, I'm just front loading the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the one with most free time asking people to go get a beer at 3 p.m. every day.
Yeah.
Hopefully at some point. It's not right now.
I would love to be able to do that. To have that
Right?
ability.
Yeah. It'd be awesome.
It's a lot of the time I'm like, ooh, 5 o'clock, gotta head to Lenovo Center. I gotta go, guys.
Yep. Yeah. Or it's like, I got to make myself eat and like decompress. So I'm
Yeah.
ready to go for
Yeah.
the Lenovo Center or for the couch work zone.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I will literally, the zone, the flow, whatever people like to call it, I will get into it during the day when I'm working and I'm just like typing. I'm like, I've got 50 million things firing to people that I need answers on. I will totally forget to eat. Like I am horrible. It's one of my weaknesses. I will forget to eat. And then I'm like 4 o'clock, I'm starving and I'm like, I guess we're going to eat dinner now.
It's huge. Yeah. I think, time management skills and stuff are always important. Everybody's got their tips and tricks,
Yeah.
but, learning to just like set like this has to only take this amount of hours.
Yeah.
I know I want to make it into this and it can be that.
Yeah.
And it kills me to not make it into this right now.
Yeah.
But like it literally has to only take this amount of hours. I'm always like, okay, this is the thing I want to create. How many hours is that going to take?
Yeah.
How do I get that done? Started to, out of necessity, change that and be like,
Yeah.
this is the max I can give to this thing. And I'll have to
100%.
trim this idea down to
Yeah.
achieve that balance by going on to something else
Yeah.
and then coming back to this in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's okay because 4 weeks is, like nothing.
Nothing. It goes by so quickly.
So quick.
I'm like, we're in March. I'm like, good God.
Yeah. It's like, and getting things done ahead of the deadline
Yeah.
is helpful. That's not even a strength. It's just something I know.
Yeah. It's amazing to me.
yeah.
Like some people are like, oh, you batch recorded episodes. That means you've had them edited for months. I'm like, no. I'm like, guys, I have not had episodes edited for a month. I'm like, because at the time there's other things going on. There's the projects that had happened that I'm still trying to play catch up on to get them out onto the other platforms, because when you're putting an episode out, I'm like, all right, audio first matters. Like I go do that, I cut the social snippets, but then I'm like, okay, YouTube can wait for a few weeks.
Yep.
And so then I've got a backlog of all these YouTube where I'm like, okay, I got to create the thumbnail. I got to then got the list goes on
Right.
just to be able to get it up on YouTube. And I'm like, there are other things.
And then like, let's say you're like, I know the tools that I can use or the custom things that I can do to help with any part of that
100%.
process. Where's the time to do that?
Yeah.
To implement it. And then let's say you get some cool meeting reply finally after you've cold messaged them for a couple months. And let's say you got to price them out, you know, a day. Like you're super stoked to price out a new project.
Yeah.
But there goes 4 hours, you know, every day that wasn't planned in.
Yeah.
So
it's
that's
like
big.
sitting down with the client. Okay, they're interested. Can you send me the packages? Absolutely, I can send you the packages. They get back to you. Can we meet again? Absolutely, let's meet again so we can walk through all this stuff. And then it's like, okay, great.
Absolutely. 50 minutes in traffic hour?
Absolutely, cool. We can do
yep,
that.
that fits into my week.
Yeah. I'm like, it's logical. But it is funny, like the amount of time, the amount of hours stack up. And as an entrepreneur, like you are constantly going and having to do that. And you know this. Like sometimes you aren't a 50-person team.
Mm-hmm.
You are a 1-person team, 2-person team, trying to wear so many hats.
Yes.
That it just, you get to the point where with Suora Studios, you've got this during the day, and then you're like, shit, I got to sit down and learn how to code to be able to do this other thing that I'm fascinated with right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you really got to appreciate the weeks too, where you don't, I mean, when you're trying to do another thing on top of the primary that makes you your income, right? Like you gotta make sure that you appreciate the times where it might be down, where before you might only be thinking, I need a project.
Yeah.
As long as you got enough months ahead, enough runway that you're good, you'll be like, okay, let me appreciate this time and go full throttle on this, like during where the sun's up and not like during the time I could spend with other people or something, right? You just gotta really appreciate that. I mean, that's something that I've been seeing. I mean, finally just got to that point, like software related, you know, the past couple weeks. Like the first couple weeks I've been able to even have a 4-hour chunk. Yeah. It's not easy to just jump into software development on any part of the process, back end, front end, deployment, and just be like, I'll just do this little task right now. Like I gotta get down into it, be in the flow, you know, it's hard.
It's hard to get in that flow too.
And there's a lot of things you can say about that, but I mean, coding's one of them for sure. Yeah.
I'm fascinated with why software for you. Like, what's your fascination with software? Like, what made you want to get into creating something like that?
My primary passion was for primarily it was for trying a product business in general.
Yeah.
I've always been a creator, little inventor at home, you know, growing up. I see if somebody make a little furnace on, you know, YouTube to do metal forging, and I'm like, how can I do that in our fire pit and with a leaf blower and PVC pipe? And I've always been that kid.
Your parents are like, please, for the love of God, stop taking all the home appliances and turn them into something.
Yeah, right. It's like we go camping, right? And I can't just have a wood pile. Like I got to have a wood pile that's in this way and it's gonna stack this way and blah blah blah. You know, I like gadgets and things. Yeah. So I really wanted to build a product, but why I learned I wanted to try the product world after having been in business and entrepreneurship is like I'm really excited to see all the positive and negatives of a product business that I can't get with this service business. Okay. So like we spoke a bit about before, marketing in a way. Yeah. There's a lot of new things I can do that I think are really worth the time and the process, the long-term sustainability of it that I can do for the product that are a little bit less valuable in time spent, I think, with the people I sell to for video projects. Yep.
One thing I was even, as you were just talking about it earlier, I was like, my social media mind was going and I'm like, this is how Tristan could do some of these things on social media.
I need to hear those ideas from you.
I think just showing how the product works is super cool once you get it into that beta phase, so people have a better understanding. Because I think like I've been really experimenting with this show don't tell. So how do you show people, because a lot of the time people don't understand all the technical jargon and things like that. So how are you able to fully lay out for people in a video or something like that of your own how this product works?
100%. I mean, that's just taking the feeling that you get, even for me, where I know how to use all the features with like scripts and things. Yeah. even for me, when I finally put the UI to it,
Yeah.
which is like a tiny piece compared to everything else that goes
Yeah.
into it. Nowadays, it's a tiny piece
Yeah.
because of the tool specifically. Now it is.
Yeah.
Just to click a button instead of hit run, like
Yeah.
with my keyboard, is, you feel that. So I
Yeah.
totally agree that, and I'd love to hear more of your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Whenever, because just being able to show somebody like, oh, you do this, this, this,
Yeah.
and then they see Premiere auto cutting.
Yeah.
That blows people's minds,
Yeah.
including me. It's like all the stuff that goes into it.
Yeah.
When I show with somebody else, the first thing I pull up is the screen recording of my Premiere, auto cutting and categorizing one interview.
I think that's
by narrative
exactly
labels.
as we were talking about it, like YouTube, like how do you take them through each set of the stages and show them how to do those things? Because I think it's even just here's the stage one where you're walking into, here's the full kind of shebang of what it does, but also when you get into the habit of using it, here's another view of it that is just like super simple to understand. So you've got the really high level, but then you're getting really crisp on what is like the usable way of doing this. That's not you having to like sit here and walk through all the different pieces.
Right. Like, is the ad like, oh, look how easy it is. You click, you transcribe, auto diarize it, auto identify speakers, get the labels, this and that, or is it more of like a creative spot where you're showing an editor sitting there and they have 5 interview timelines up on the screen and the camera shows that and they're like, oh my God. And then I show a version where it's like they just start and that stage is already done for them. It's like that the latter is probably the smarter way to do it, right?
Yeah. There's so many different ways you can break it up and do it. There's so many ways.
I've been dying to be at this point where I can just focus on the part that actually will make or break it. Doesn't matter how amazing the thing is. Doesn't matter if it's a little nuclear reactor in your computer. Like, if nobody knows about it.
Yeah. It's the fun part where like you're building it and you're seeing your passion and what you've kind of been soaking into your brain like finally comes out and you're seeing it. And then you start to see people use it and you're like, you kind of get like the teary-eyed kind of like, holy shit, like this is cool. This is far bigger or far better than I ever thought something could happen or would happen or everything. That's the cool part about building something and being an entrepreneur.
Super well said. I don't want to mess that up at all. But I'll append one thing, which is that's one of the only ways that outside of your own volition, the imposter syndrome is immediately absolved, right?
Yeah.
Like you see that work and just like you said, that's the moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes away pretty quickly.
I'll build a feature or finally conquer AWS or whatever.
Yeah.
And previous to making it successful, that's all I can think about. Like, how am I gonna get this work? How am I gonna get this work? This. And then I build it and it works. And by the next week, I've already forgotten that was even cool.
Yeah.
And that's actually a hard part with consistent marketing too. All these things that your business does are all little nodes of opportunity to talk about. But they're so normal to you that I think that's a big trick of marketing.
It's so funny. People will be like, oh my God, you guys had this great post last week. And I'm like, you got to be a little bit more descriptive because we pushed out 9 pieces of social last week on LinkedIn. I'm like, we're going to have to be a little bit more descriptive here. And they all did really well. And it's funny because people have different perspectives of things that perform really well. Like that's the thing that's been interesting to me about marketing is like, some people see in terms of social media, like, oh, we got a high amount of impressions. Impressions don't mean jack to any of us because it's just total amount of eyeballs that anybody scrolling through LinkedIn who sees it, that's what that is. But it's like the pure engagements of it, like that's the telling stuff. But it's so funny because people are like, what's the engagement rate? What's this CTR link? And I'm like, why does it matter? Why do you want to know? And everybody's got a different thing of why they think it's important.
Right.
And it's fascinating with marketing. I'm like, we can pick apart things. And I'm like,
all day.
I'm like, it's going to be different for every person why it's important.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, like consistency in general.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since we last spoke too and keeping up with everything you're posting, like no matter what's actually in your content, the fact that it's that consistent is such a huge deal,
Yeah. It's funny. I don't know if you do this. Like every year I go into the year and I'm like, okay, this is what we did last year. What did I like? What didn't I like? what can I do better this year? And I go in every year and I'm like, okay, how can we be consistent with this now? Where I'm having to take, like I said to you earlier, I'm having to take my learnings from my full-time job and apply them to my own self. Where I'm like, people come to me, they're like, okay, I want to post on LinkedIn. Should I be posting every day? I'm like, please don't do that. Please don't do that. It's like pick like Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I went and did. I'm like, all right, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are my 3 days. Run with it.
Yep. And it that actually is a whole like separate tangent of like doing the things that you do for your clients already. It's
Yeah.
like being a client of yourself in this case.
You have to go do it for yourself.
Or even like, why don't I have, I mean, I've started to now finally, but I've always thought like, why don't I like track literally everything in terms of finances in my personal life? Like I look at
Interesting.
my stuff and keep up with it, but
Yeah.
like, why is every, you know, for your business, every
Yeah.
transaction's logged, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why don't I have every transaction logged or like look at the Chase spending breakdown more,
Yeah.
right? Like, why do I need to wonder like, okay, well, in 3 months, am I going to have the money to spend it on something
Yeah.
stupid or non-productive like a surfboard or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need to wonder. Why don't I do it like I do it for the business? Like,
And what that surfboard?
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Or like more importantly, like the house or like, you
Yeah.
know, the next stock expenditure. I don't
Yeah.
know.
The house is for me. That's for me. I was like, crap. I'm like, what do I need to fix in my house now?
Yeah.
Or what is the next thing that I need to
And why
do?
are these all these to-do things in my head? Why not have a Notion board for my
Yes.
house like I do for my projects?
Yes. Yes. I'm like, okay, how do I get it is funny. It's like you take the business side, I'm like, all right, great. And then you're like, oh, I could just do this personally as well.
Yeah.
And then
Or like
people
you got time with your friends, right?
Yeah.
Why is that not on the calendar? Why do I
Yeah.
not need to forget about that or plan that into my week just
Yeah.
because it's like a personal thing? Like, no, put it in the
Yeah.
calendar right next to the business, you know?
I'm like, God. One would have thought this would have been easier, but apparently it's not.
I think that's a good example though, out of necessity, what entrepreneurship does for you in terms of your own growth.
Yeah.
Because you literally have to do all of that and
Yeah.
you still have a, you know, certain statistic of success.
Yeah.
So it just, you have to do that to keep everything running consistently.
Yeah. Personal life when you're an entrepreneur just sometimes just doesn't.
Yeah. Or like, let's say
exist.
you've been super busy, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I need a vacay. Like, not even just like you have a trip plan vacay. Like
Just go to the beach.
you need to take like 3 PTO days. It's like, okay, what does that mean for me? Well,
Yeah.
not much. Like if I don't have a lot going on in a week and I don't need to be developing something else, just take part of the days, you know? There's not gonna be a day where I'm at home
Yeah.
and I want to do DIY projects and I'm just like, I'm not gonna reply to that email.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like that's where
Yes.
your work and personal life can
Blend.
become
Yeah.
one in a positive way, you
Yeah.
know? At least you
Yeah.
have to look at it like that.
Yeah. I'm so happy with like when I'm on Zoom calls that nobody can see like my setup. I'm like, I've got like 3 computer screens.
Yep.
And I'm like moving everything around. And people are like, what is Danielle doing? I'm like, don't need to worry about it. You don't need to see it. You don't need to worry.
That's behind the scenes.
Stuff's getting done.
Yep.
That's all you need to take care. That's all you need to worry about.
And that's all you need to do is
Yeah.
get things done.
Yeah. I'm like, you can pay attention to the dogs running around behind me. Don't need to worry about anything else that's going into my office.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, but I think with software and I know like I mentioned
Yeah.
before, doing something that you have domain knowledge in is big.
Yeah.
So you sit down, you can create whatever you want to. You can have an MVP for a product
Yeah.
if you use certain tools like in 2 days.
Yeah.
So what is it going to be that you create? And what I was talking about this with a mentor of mine last week. We were having that same sharing the light bulb moment together of just
Yeah.
like any idea you have, just MVP immediately.
Yeah.
I actually think that just incentivizes or emphasizes the business fundamentals of thinking about what the
Yep.
value is, who's the competition, like
Yeah.
why are you going to be able to make this better than other people? Like, do
Yeah.
you have the knowledge, or is this just like you have this idea and you're going to get all these people or tools to do it, but like how are you going to put yourself in the shoes of the customer in that
Yeah.
domain, right? Or your customer, whatever that means,
Yeah.
in that field, right? Like starting with something that you really know, whether that means you've done it or you've literally spoken to enough
Yeah.
people in whatever that is that you can, produce the things that actually solve their pain points in the way they need them to be solved.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I think you having firsthand knowledge of the pain points that take place, it makes a world of difference. Like you are sitting in that seat every single day and went and created a product. Not only that could make your life easier doing your full-time job, but you are in a community and you know people as well. You've worked with other people that you can say, I want to see if this makes your life easier as well.
Right.
Can you try it out?
Yep. With the least amount of friction to implement that
Yeah.
into life as possible.
Yeah.
Because even if it's easy, we all have muscle memory. You know, it takes me
Totally.
3 months to remember, like back in the day, like, oh, I'm going to open up frame.io first and not remember that I have to go back and in the middle of the project, you know? So there's already just natural muscle memory.
Yeah.
So you got to decrease any other friction other than that.
Yep.
You know, even I tell people now, I'll go in and have a class time with some students, and it's all going to be about AI tools they can use on their next business project, whatever.
That's cool.
And I always like get to my main point being like, use the tool.
Yeah.
Like, don't sit around and wonder. I'm trying to coin a phrase now where it's like, it's a waste to wonder now.
I like
Have the
that.
idea, wonder for like a second,
Yeah.
and then don't sit there wondering.
Yeah.
Start talking to an LLM
Yeah.
immediately. You don't even have to use any good words at all. So people are like, okay, I'm pulling up ChatGPT right now. I want to like test this business model. What do I say? And I'm like, what you just said to me, say that.
Yeah.
Say that like word for word. What do I even talk about? And and you get going, you know? It gives you that mentor, that person that without them, you wouldn't be able to start in a new area.
Yeah. It's incredibly helpful. I think what stumps a lot of people is they're like, oh, but it's not churning out what I want it to churn out. I'm like, well, that means you're not prompting it correctly. That means you need to, everybody thinks that you put in the first prompt and then you're like, oh, it's done. That's great. No, you have to keep pulling on it and changing it in different ways that you want it to be. Like if you don't want the marketing or salesy speak in it, tell it you don't want the marketing and salesy speak in it. And if it still has it, say it again, but in a different way, in a different tone or whatever it may be so that it understands.
Yeah. Give it 5 example snippets.
Yeah.
Separate them with quotations so the model can know these are the examples you're giving, not your prompt.
Yeah.
You have to be the driver. Like, all these things are powerful enough, and they will be at some point.
Yeah.
For it to actually build a SaaS business for you.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. But we're not there now, and we might not ever really have. I mean, that wouldn't be great for, I'm sure, a lot of businesses that are putting out these things.
Yeah.
So I'm sure just on market in general, like the same reason why everything right now is empowered by nuclear, you know, like why?
Yeah.
Like the logic, science, benefits, waste protocols, all that, way better than anything we do with energy, right? All the world's energy needs can be fit in nuclear waste on a football field, right? Or a couple, like 4.
Yeah.
And we don't. Like, why not? You know?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing.
I get the question all the time. People will say to me, they're like, are you worried with AI coming in of like social media and everything? I'm like, no. I'm like, because I'm working with AI every single day. And I said, we're still not at the point that this can confidently do social media, spit social media out for you without you sounding like every single other person or being a successful model for you to be able to use.
Yeah. People are like, oh, did you see Sora came out? Like SORA from OpenAI? It's like, yeah, I can't, you know, it's going to be so useful that you're not worried about that or like producing videos. Like, how is Sora going to take the CEO of WakeMed Health Systems and replicate them? I actually know how to do that with code. I've done it for a project before, but that's not what it does. You know, it's
It's crazy.
Yeah. You got to use it or be the driver of it or
go learn it. That's the important thing. I'm like, go learn it and then come back to me and say, oh, this is going to take your job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the people who aren't using it will be replaced by people that are using it. And there'll be a lot of, when we're talking about it, as in tools that can do things that you would need human inference for in the past, even like scheduling calendar. Like you need a human to infer the different steps that it takes to get to sending a calendar invite for somebody.
Yeah.
And so there will be a lot of things that are replaced that isn't just the easiest thing to say, or like it's going to be other humans using it. Yeah, even if the human's using it to replace others, it's going to be replacing 10 people at a time, 50 people at a time. So you really got to use it. I think the best way to use it, if it is an LLM or any tool, is to enhance learning, just like the internet, technically increased the access to education
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
That's a big one. I think that would be really cool.
I think that's like by far the greatest ubiquitous benefit
Yeah.
for anybody with an internet connection. Now with Starlink, that can expand to people in the middle of absolute nowhere,
Yeah.
including deserts. So if you have the tech now to at least get you to connect to the internet,
Yeah.
you have free education.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
and now these models can search the internet, get up to date data,
Yeah.
take you to the right research papers,
Yep.
then summarize them for you. I mean, like the access to education is just,
It's outstanding.
yeah,
Yeah.
incredible. So that's the biggest thing that it gives us, I think.
Okay.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
an LLM didn't create my software.
No.
That was 16 months ago. It would have been
Yeah.
amazing if it could. But I also know how to understand enough to put it up to AWS,
Yeah.
which no LLM can put it on
No.
AWS for you.
No, there are limitations, that's for sure. We've definitely found them.
Yep.
And it doesn't look like it's going to get better anytime. Like those are going to get fixed just
Yeah.
because it's always going to have limitations to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always got to be knowing about what it is you're trying to put out
Yeah.
into the market. It doesn't mean you have to know every single thing about it. I like that, but that's just a personal way I am.
Yeah.
It's actually a negative to production, really. You
Yeah.
know. So I'm just saying you at least have to know how things are working, like what the
Yeah.
value points are, what the negatives are in your process,
Yeah.
and then anything that already exists in terms of a tool like a hammer,
Yeah.
just use it. Figure out the other areas of your business where you're not
Yeah.
using the hammer that's already invented, or
Yeah.
because you can't invent everything. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
you got to focus on the value
Yeah.
and just make sure that happens.
With everything that you're pushing out with this new project, with this new product, like what are you excited for this year? Like with everything you've got going on?
I'm just really excited to see like people using the software,
Okay.
and I daydream about
Nice.
seeing some YouTuber like I can't remember her name, but it's like I think it's Premiere Gal on
Okay.
YouTube, and she's got a huge following, teaching people all the new plugins for Premiere.
Yeah.
You know, to see her be like, you guys got to see Somni Pro. You got to be using
cool.
this. Like, I just want to see people saying
Yeah.
that, and because if I see people saying that, all the stuff that matters for the actual business piece
Yeah.
will come. That'll be
Yeah.
a great signal that revenue's coming or user counts are coming
Yeah.
and staying, and then I can take the business model
Yeah.
in the right direction after that.
I love it.
I just want other people to use it and get the value that I've been getting from it,
Yeah.
and give me ideas.
What's the next thing?
I'm so
What's-
ready to not like come up with any ideas of my own for this. I already have a long list, let alone features that are not going to be in the beta. I'm so ready to just like literally
Hear what other people want.
100 people said this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do that. Like no analysis needed, you know?
Please take this off my plate so I don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
like, do you want image generation and understanding abilities in the next release or not? Like, tell me now, you know?
I won't put it in if you don't want it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So,
I love it.
yeah, that's what I'm excited about most for sure. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear all the feedback you get too.
I hope you are one of them to give me feedback.
I will definitely give you feedback. But I'm so excited that you've got this project, that you've got this passion coming to life in this project. I think this is going to be so cool to be able to use on every platform that is out there that people are doing production on.
Yeah. And I would just urge other people in their business, if you create something internally that helps your business, it will
Yeah.
probably help other people's businesses.
Yeah.
I can't remember a nice, elegant phrase that you call that, but in investment in VC, that I'm just blanking on it now, but that internal product creation in a business that then you grow into another whole business itself,
Yeah.
service or product offering, is really big because it starts with the core
Yeah.
pain point of the actual business in the actual industry.
Yeah.
And that's the best place to start,
Yeah.
whether it's you or your customer interviews.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Tristan, I can't thank you enough for sitting down with me today and walking me through this whole vision you've got and everything you've created. I'm so excited for you.
Thanks so much for giving me another slot
Yeah,
on
I'm
your
so
pod.
excited we were able to do it. Guys, we had to schedule this. This is the third try because we had like weather issues and all this stuff.
I was just worried I wouldn't be able to get back on for another few months because Danielle's out here crushing it. So
No.
many things going
Tristan and
on.
I's calendars are just a disaster for the next several months.
It'll always be that way. Yeah. But I love everything you've been doing.
Thank you.
You're a queen of consistency. So people
Thank
should really
you.
take after you. I know it motivates me to be like, and that's the 19th post I've seen from Danielle. I didn't even post it in the past 19 days. What's going on? You know? So I use it as like everybody should in your entrepreneurial community, get motivation from each other. And just
It's
be
definitely,
consistent.
I swear, I get it from LinkedIn. It's everybody's doing so many cool things. And that's what I love about being in this Raleigh area too, that there's so many things happening that people are just doing some dope shit. And it's cool that we're all just coming around each other and saying, all right, can you do this? Can you do that?
Yep.
Help me here. Help me here.
And you're
It's
providing
awesome.
conduit for us to be exposed to each other's stuff. So
Yeah,
that's so
I'm like,
invaluable. So
I'm
invaluable.
like, let's pull everybody together and how can we do it all together?
Thank you for continuing to do that.
I love it. It's my favorite part of just being like home right here is the best.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
thank you, Tristan. I appreciate it, guys. I'm going to have all of Tristan's information down below so you can give him a follow. And as always, I will see you guys back here next time.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Bye, y'all.